Hey, welcome back to another developer log for Ronin 2072. It's been so long. It's almost as if I haven't existed in all this time. Anyways, let's get right into this devlog. Well, it's been about a month or two, but I'm going to show you what we worked on last month. So this is basically a delayed video that you should have seen way earlier, and hopefully I'll be able to make a devlog soon for all of the new things that we've been doing this month. So this is everything that we did in February, is essentially what we should have showed off much earlier. The first thing we worked on was a very simple improvement to our sliding, which is essentially kind of tilting the player depending on what kind of slope they're on. This was a much needed thing because when you're on a slope and you're sliding, it looked really weird. You would literally just be at a 90-degree angle while you're going down a slope. So we just fixed that really quickly. There are a lot of improvements I still want to make on it to make it feel a lot better and smoother and just, I don't know, add more movement to the player while they're sliding down. I think we're going to change up the entire animation in general. But it's looking pretty good and it's getting there. So I'm happy. A new thing that I added completely new and fresh to the game is a targeting system, and I don't know if this will stay in the game. Right now we're just playing around with it. I think it works great for bosses once we get that in. Obviously we don't have bosses just yet, but essentially you could just press a button like tab and then it will target the closest enemy that's in front of you, kind of like how I'm showing right here. And it's perfect for controller players, and it's also great for keyboard and mouse because your spacebar basically gets switched out with a sidestep. This is great for dodging attacks and great for, you know, just overall combat. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. People are going to enjoy this, especially with the added thing that I'm going to show off next, which is the bullet whizzing sounds. The next thing I added in, or well, improved, because we had this before, I improved the bullet whizzing sounds. I changed up some stuff when it came to the attenuation, kind of improved it a little bit more so then it actually felt more natural when it passed by your camera. I think there's still a lot of improvements that we can still make for this bullet whizzing sound system. Probably upping the volume or just changing up some of the pitches when it passes by you, like depending on the distance from the camera, maybe it has a higher pitch or a lower pitch. These are kind of things that I want to put in and improve in the overall system. But so far it sounds really cool, the fact that you can just have bullets whizzing by you, and it even works in slow motion. There could probably be some improvements to it, but it definitely is getting there, and I think it's pretty damn awesome. I can't wait until we have full-on combat and you're just dodging bullets and you hear phew, phew, you know. I think it's gonna be pretty sick. Here, take a listen. Another thing that I did, which is a quality of life improvement for platforming and just overall movement, is the surge dash wall detection. So instead of you surge dashing into a wall and just hitting your face into a wall, kind of like that one episode of Spider-Man, what I ended up doing is I ended up kind of adding in this detection system and increasing the slope upwards the closer you are to the wall. And this works both for mouse and keyboard and controller. Obviously, I feel like this is a better improvement for controller because most of the time when people are playing, they're not going to flick up. Most people are going to have lower sensitivity, so they won't be able to do that. And this is a pretty fast-paced game, so we want to kind of assist players and kind of getting them in the direction that they want to go in. What this does is it will detect how close you are to a wall. It's going to do a line trace, and essentially this line trace will kind of give us the distance as to how far up we're going to have to go. And the closer we are to the wall, the higher pitch or the higher rotation we go up. There are a couple improvements I still have to make. Sometimes you don't get attached to the wall, which is incorrect. We want it to be mostly, you know, you can start wall running straight off the bat when you surge dash and you're like nearby the wall. So these are things that I do want to improve. It works great when you're like at a 45-degree angle, but once you start going higher than that, we have a couple issues. So there's definitely some stuff that I can fix in there and improve even further, but this is definitely a great start. And this is just one of the things that we're going to be adding in of many to improve movement and overall parkour, because I think a lot of platforming games have so many tricks that they do to kind of assist you and make it feel more fluid and not as aggressive. This isn't a Souls-like parkour game. This is a fun parkour slashing shit game. And by shit game, I meant not shit game. I meant slashing shit game. It's in brackets. Anyways, Another thing I went ahead and improved because I was an idiot and I implemented it incorrectly. That's just how I do things. The first time I add in things, it doesn't work well. And this is one of those things, which is our tracing and projectile movement systems. In the beginning, how I had it was you basically do a line trace forward a certain distance, and then we set the bullet or projectile like a knife forward, which, if you can imagine, does not work too well in slow motion. So I had to fix that all up. The only reason why I did that was because I wanted our system to be completely consistent. Using line traces rather than collision boxes, in my opinion, is a lot better, especially when it's hitting surfaces like walls and stuff. Line trace is way more accurate, we can get more information out of it. So instead what I did is I changed it back to a projectile movement system, which is something you can use on actors in UE4. And instead of just doing that and using a collision box, instead what I'm doing is I'm doing a line trace while it's moving forward. Therefore, we have an accurate system, and at the same time, it is smoothly interpolating forward as it goes forward in terms of bullets and stuff. Of course, the bullet trail does need some improvements. You can see it's kind of lagging behind, which is a bit of an issue, but that shouldn't be too difficult of a fix. That's more of an FX thing, kind of in the, it's a detail thing, but we'll definitely fix it up in the future. But in terms of the overall system of like hitting things and whatnot, that is completely smooth. It's working a lot better than how it was before. So thank goodness. Thank goodness I took the time to actually fix that thing. Last but not least, probably the coolest thing of this entire devlog, and honestly, there's been way more additions to this whole world that I'll probably show off in the next devlog. But if you've been watching us on the live stream at twitch.tv/firstcrimson, you've already gotten a sneak peek of the world so far. We got things like trains and more things that I'll probably introduce to you in the next devlog. But in this devlog, we got a lot of our buildings in, a lot more environment art kind of fleshed out in the abandoned building. This is kind of giving us an idea of what the world is really going to look like. Of course, there are probably more details that we do want to add in, but since we are an indie team and we don't want to go too over the top in certain locations, we want the entire world to feel great. And as you can see, here's our city, which is massive and crazy. There's really not that many buildings when we think about it. Yes, it is a pretty massive city, and we're going to have to put in a lot of detail, but we really want to make sure that every building kind of has its own feeling to it. Of course, we are going to be reusing a lot of assets. It's a typical thing. We're not going to go out of our way to make every building super unique. That would be pretty crazy. We are going to try our best, though, with what we've got. But the world is really starting to shape up. I've done a bunch of lighting improvements, change up how the moon actually goes into the environment. Before, the moon had no impact whatsoever. I don't know who did that. Yeah, but anyways, it looks a lot better, and I'm super excited to see how this world is going to shape up in the next few months. Right now, it's super promising. Now, when you look at this, you're thinking it's just a bunch of cubes. This is our level design kind of planning stage first off. We want to make sure that we can jump from building to building, make sure that it feels good, and then as we go, more details will get thrown into the world, new kind of ways to go around places, maybe even ropes that you can actually hang on, maybe monkey bars, just a whole range of things that we kind of want to add in to make the gameplay feel more fun and engaging, and even ways to get on top of places that you wouldn't even think about when you first play the game, but as you start exploring and looking around the city, you'll find ways to get on top of places, maybe loot places, get more, maybe get collectibles. Stuff like that is going to be super awesome. And I can't wait, because this is kind of like a unique roguelite. There's a predefined city, but it's still relatively fresh, and you should have a lot of playtime, and that's the goal. Anyway, everybody, thank you for watching this very, very delayed devlog. I hope you have a fantastic week. It's been a bit weird these past couple weeks with this whole situation, I guess. Just so you know, if you're ever indoors and you're just bored and you want to watch something, I am streaming a lot more nowadays because everybody wants more streams. Check me out, twitch.tv/firstcrimson. I love to have you in there. You don't even have to chat. Just hop in, see if you like it, and if you don't, hey, that's maybe just 5 minutes wasted that you're probably indoors anyways. Anywho, have a good one. I'll see you later.